actually felt retarded, like really retarded. I mean, I brushed my teeth retarded. I rode the bus retarded.
Dang.
In a weird way, I had to sort of just free myself up to believe that it was okay to be stupid or dumb.
To be a moron.
Yeah,
To be moronical.
exactly. To be a moron.
An imbecile.
Yeah.
Like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
In a weird way, it was almost like I had to sort of fool my mind into believing that it wasn't retarded. And by the end of the whole thing, I was like, wait a minute, you know? I flushed so much out, how am I gonna jumpstart it up again? It's just like,
Yeah.
right?
You was farting in bathtubs and laughing your ass off.
Yeah.
This serious? You don't know. Everybody knows you never go full retard.
What do you mean?
You know any retired war heroes? You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this video finds you. Welcome to Tiggs. Y'all saw the video this morning. I took a shower, I threw this on and playing in CapCut, trying to do those clips. The funny thing is, like, they're blocking some of them because of the sad violin music. But it's like I got the sad violin music from you guys, but you know they're blocking it. It's talking about it's the copyright. It's copyrighted, so it is what it is. I'll try to figure something out. I've got a CapCut and Wondershare, so I'm pretty sure I can work something out. So that way you guys could hear the insanity that went on last night if you didn't get a chance to catch it. But I want that to breathe. So at any rate, let's take a look at what's been going on over the past 3 to 5 days concerning Tesla. This type of stuff has been going on at Tesla dealership all over the country. Because ActBlue, which Elon, quote unquote, cut their funding because they pay people like this to go out and do demonstrations. You know, jobless Democrats. I think they paid them like $20 an hour to go out and protest with guarantees of getting them out of jail. So, you know, these aren't people who legitimately have an issue. These are people who are just trying to earn the paycheck. All right? And if they get arrested, they get bailed out. Maybe. So, but understand that at some point, when you start destroying the property, when you start causing damage, that's terroristic activity. It's no longer a protest, it's terroristic activity.
Elon Musk has got to go! Musk has got to go!
And of course, you got the flip ring and everything. Bunch of silliness. And it's always the same people. It's always the same type of people. Yeah, you know, they get a goofy black kid. Why you hiding your face? Why you hiding your face? I mean, it's 2025 and you all still wearing masks. You know why they hide their faces? Because they know that if they get caught on camera doing this, more than likely they'll never get hired at any other job again. Like I did a whole thing last year where a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, no, he wasn't the CEO, but he was like a headhunter for a Fortune 500 company. And he was saying that people like this, and like especially the protests on the college campuses where they wear the mask and everything, He said they have software that they run, like, they'll take your picture and everything, and they'll run your face through facial recognition software of all the videos of the people who were protesting on those campuses. And they'll find you. If you were a part of it, they'll find you. Just like the whole Jerry Jones back during the 50s. Yeah, they'll find you. And if they find you doing something like this, they won't hire you. They won't hire you. You'll be discriminated against. The thing is, they don't want situations like this at the workplace. They don't want somebody that, oh my God, he looked at me funny, or I didn't like the way he said hello to me in a sexual manner. I'm so traumatized. I want 40 million or him fired. They don't want those type of people walking around their corporation. What's up, Simeon? Say word on the street is President Trump got a free Tesla. Yeah, I mean, he did talk about a Tesla. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to be here long. I just wanted to give y'all an update real quick. So if you see some stupid stuff like this, be sure to laugh at them and ask them, like, how much are y'all getting paid? When do y'all get paid? On like Friday or, Monday? When's payday? These people are silly. They're not making a difference, though. But do also understand that at the same time, Elon Musk is not the head of Doge. If you saw that video of him walking with this white woman who had a cane and she was carrying a backpack, you see, hold on, let me find it. Here you go. He helped her with her bag. See, Susie Wiles, the White House Chief of Staff. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But I believe that she's the head of Doge. I am not 100% sure. But there is a woman who is, she's head of Doge, okay? She's the head of Doge. Elon Musk is just the face of Doge. Do you understand? He's just the face because he's taking the slings and arrows for the woman that's actually in charge of going through Doge, that's supervising it. Elon's team is just the ones that are doing all of the, the clackety clack clack clacks and finding all of the fraud, waste, and abuse. They're the ones finding the money, but Elon reports to her. And then she highlights stuff, goes through stuff, and then she gives to Elon, and Elon, or she takes it to the president, and Elon pretends to be the face of Doge. So he can take the slings and arrows. He's not worried. The little cyber attack that happened on X/Twitter today, was it today? This morning or last night? It was this morning. They're not worried about that. They're not worried about that. Trust me, he can take the slings and arrows. The guy. Okay, so he's no longer worth 90 billion. Now he's worth what, 60 billion? He's not worried. Trust me, he's not worried. So, but yeah, that's all. That's all. So let's get on to why we're here. Let's get to my girl. Let's get to the sniper. The White House sniper.
Get settled. There's a lot of news today, so I look forward to taking your questions. Good to see you. And I have some updates for you as well. Later today, President Trump will address the Business Roundtable's quarterly meeting, where he will tout his pro-growth economic agenda and answer questions before more than 100 of our nation's leading CEOs. Okay. In fact, it's the largest attendance ever for this event because business leaders are so eager and encouraged by President Trump's return to Washington.
That's a damn shame. Because do understand that under Biden, if you guys have been paying attention, those of you who follow me from the Villainous News channel or Embrace Villainy channel, we saw business after business after business shut down. because of crime. They lowered they lowered charges for crime and also the standards of crime. It's not a joke. I mean, we should already know this, that anything under $1,000, or in some states or cities $950, there was no point in calling the police. Petty theft was legal. They literally made petty theft legal, which is the biggest crime that was taking place in America, was petty theft. Remember AOC and her idiotic self telling us, they're just stealing a loaf of bread. Okay, so if 1,000 people steal a loaf of bread, the grocery store goes kaput. I mean, not literally, but you get the idea. I'm being hyperbolic, but you understand, the more people steal, because Lewis will tell you that, because that's his field. Grocery stores don't necessarily turn the huge profit that people think they do, because do understand their biggest loss comes from perishables, that being meat, dairy products, and produce. They throw that stuff out. I mean, come on, we all know, you go to the grocery store, you see the lamb chops on sale. They go from $16 down to like 10 or 8 or something like that. You quickly, let me get these. Yeah, because it has to be off the shelf due to regulations. You say the Associated Press is gangster. Yeah, it has to be off the shelf. If it's not off the shelf, they throw it away. They don't give it to the homeless because of laws and regulations. They have to throw the stuff away. It goes in the trash. Yeah, they throw it away. Stuff that we be like, wow, why don't you get the homeless? They be like, talk to your state and local governments, because basically the way they're looking at it is that if it's past its expiration date to sell, then it's past its expiration date to consume. And if you gave it to homeless shelters and somebody eats it and then they get sick, guess who's held responsible? Will the shelter be held responsible, or the grocery store where it came from? Will they be held responsible? And I hope I don't start boring. I see I got my little Wi-Fi window going. If I do, let me know and I'll back up. So they lose money on those products, and then you top that off with petty theft being legal. Where's your profit? It eventually gets to the point where you can't afford to operate the store. This is why, like, when Brandon Johnson brags about, well, we got black businesses in Chicago, we're trying to do that, even though he's really not. Like, but dude, you lost all 4 of your Walmarts. Thus creating food deserts in those 4 central locations because of petty theft. All right. Portland, Oregon, they had 2. I mean, since we want to talk about, Chicago, Portland, Oregon, white area, they lost their only 2 Walmarts because of petty theft. Look at San Francisco is pretty much a Scooby-Doo ghost town. It's worse than Oakland. Oakland was so bad, Keith Lee didn't even want to go there. He was there for a hot minute, got him some street tacos, and got the hell up out of there. LA is even worse because of petty theft and crime. You've seen the videos of the kids doing the, what do they call them? The mobs, where they come in and they grab as much as they can, and then they run out the door. Yeah, I mean, a low IQ person would claim that that's reparations or, sticking it to the man. Meanwhile, people are losing their jobs. Like, what are you going to steal if there's no stores in the area? What are you going to steal if you go up to like a Lenox Mall or whatever area where the mall is where you live, and they no longer exist. The grocery stores are now shut down. There's no Walgreens or a CVS in your area because of petty theft. They shut down. They all shut down. There's nothing left but maybe fast food restaurants. What happens then? And a lot of them are shutting down. What happens then? You have whole sweeping areas of nothing but joblessness and urban blight. You know, because the Democrats felt that theft was legal, that cash bond, that bail was racist because a thief couldn't afford to pay his way out of jail. Good. You belong there. You're a thief. You're a rapist. You're a physical assaulter. You shouldn't get out, but they let these people out anyway, stacking up long lists of charges. So now that Trump is back in office, and as she said, they're holding this giant, corporation summit. Yeah, these guys are there. They want to know, hey, what are you going to do about these crime laws? I guarantee you that's going to be the first question that they ask. What are you going to do about these crime laws? Because what's the point of opening a business if it's okay for anybody to steal, especially the teenagers? The teenagers get the biggest slaps on the wrist ever. Look at this. One hot turnstile, 4 people shot. A man coming home from a trip, another on his way to work, a woman off to a dinner on a Sunday afternoon in September. 3 subway riders found themselves in a hail of police bullets meant for a man who had hopped the turnstile. That's in New York, of course. I've already covered that. They need to change their turnstiles. I've already covered that. At any rate, yeah, crime is off the hook. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of the first questions they're going to ask him. Probably the second question will be about, I already know what's up with the DEI practices. I'm pretty sure they're not even going to really be worried about that. Pay. What about pay? Are you telling us we have to deal with a pay increase for these people? Like what? What's up? But let's set that aside. The biggest thing they're going to ask him about is crime. So let's get to this. I'm sorry. It's a short press conference, so I'm chewing up time. Shut up.
This follows President Trump's roundtable yesterday with the Technology CEO Council here at the White House, where he met with key leaders in the technology industry. And last night, President Trump also held an official swearing-in ceremony in the Oval Office for Sean Curran, who is now the 28th Director of the United States Secret Service. Sean demonstrated unbelievable bravery under gunfire in Butler, Pennsylvania this past July when an assassin tried to kill President Trump. As someone who got to know Sean personally throughout the campaign last year, I can say unequivocally that there is nobody better suited for this important role.
Oh, look at Trump in this picture. He like, hey, you had my back, bro. Like you better do a damn good job. I'm giving you a huge promotion. He looked happy as hell. But yeah, he got a huge promotion for saving Trump's life during that. I mean, the bullet missed him, but still, he was one of the first responders to dive on his body. So, that, sometimes hard work pay off. You almost took a bullet for the dude, so he hooked you up. They say you never forget your friends. You never forget your friends.
And following the confirmation of Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRomer last night, the Senate has now confirmed 21 of President Trump's well-qualified cabinet-level nominees, far outpacing the previous administration. And looking ahead, tomorrow, the president will welcome the Taoiseach Micheál Martin of Ireland for the annual White House Shamrock ceremony. And Thursday, President Trump will welcome the NATO Secretary General for a working meeting and lunch. On the economy, February's jobs report was good news for America, particularly our manufacturing sector. The manufacturing sector gained 10,000 new jobs in just 1 month under President Trump. This rebound was led by the automobile sector, where we saw 9,000 new auto jobs created already. That is the most auto jobs added to the economy in 15 months. This was a complete turnaround from the Biden administration, where we were losing an average of 9,000 manufacturing jobs per month last year.
Those are buy a house jobs.
Reuters is out with a report that a number of companies are now looking at expanding their presence or bringing their businesses into America because of President Trump's policies. And just moments ago, before coming out here, I saw another report by Reuters revealing that Merck has opened a $1 billion facility at its North Carolina site. This is just the latest pharmaceutical company to boost its U.S. manufacturing in lieu of President Trump's tariffs.
Speaking of which, trying to have this discussion with low IQ people who were talking about the gold card. Some moron was, I guess he's an economist or whatever, although he's horrible at his job. I wouldn't ask this guy how to invest $20. He was trying to say that with the gold card, the U.S. citizens should sell their citizenship to non-U.S. citizens for $1 million or whatever like that. Be like, that's not how it works, you moron. The gold card for $5 million is for corporations, foreign corporations who feel that the tariffs are going to hurt their business. So it's like, hey, look. You buy the gold card for $5 million. You can move your business to America. Will it hurt your people? Yes, it will, unfortunately. But you can stay and raise the price of your goods and suffer one way, or you come here and you thrive by selling your goods at a cheaper price. How do you want to play it? If the corporations come here, that means more jobs for Americans at a cheaper price. People are worried about the cost of goods going up. Will some goods go up? Yes. Will some goods go down? Yes. If their corporations come to America. And that gold card, trust me, people are lining up for that. When they look at the taxes that they're now going to have to pay, in the long run, it's cheaper to move your business to America. So warehouse jobs, distribution jobs, corporate jobs, average everyday blue collar jobs that take place in these corporations, those jobs are coming to America. You worried about your government job? This is why I say you take the buyout package. Take the 7th month buyout package. If I worked in government and I had to talk to a team leader or something, I'd be like, hey, look, let's have a meeting. We're going to respond to the Musk emails and everything. But if they talk about cutting our department, we want to talk buyout packages. If you're going to give these people a buyout package, I want a buyout package too. I want the same buyout package you're offering these other people. I want the 7th month one. Okay. And also want full benefits while that's going on. You know, healthcare, dental, all that stuff. I want that. If you're going to shut down my department, I want that at least for 7 months. Even if they just cut it down to 5, that's cool. But 7 months is perfect. That way, when all these corporations start moving in and all of these new jobs open up, I can easily apply there. Matter of fact, I would let these corporations know you guys get a tax break for every former government employee that you hire. That way you help open the door for these people. That way they don't feel left in the cold and abandoned. But it's up to the corporations of whether they want to hire or fire you. But I would give them the option. That way you're taken care of. Trust me, this stuff will be up and running before the end of the year, before you know it, before Christmas. I guarantee you, hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of jobs will be opening up. Those tariffs kick in on the 2nd. It's cheaper. In the long run, it's cheaper to buy the gold card. Let's go.
This announcement follows Eli Lilly's plans to invest at least $27 billion to build 4 new manufacturing plants here in the United States. And Pfizer has also said it's considering moving their manufacturing overseas right here to the United States of America. As the president has said over and over again, when we purchase products made in the USA, the profits stay here, the revenue stays here, and most importantly, the jobs stay here. And despite the globalist mainstream media's attempts to worry consumers, President Trump will not repeat the trend of past American presidents who broke their promises to the American public and smiled while they stuck a knife in the back of American workers and shipped their jobs overseas. Our country has lost more than 5 million jobs in more than 90,000 factories due to devastating globalization over the last 3 decades alone. North Carolina lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs, including 60% of its furniture manufacturing jobs in the years following NAFTA. And in Michigan, globalist policies destroyed 250,000 jobs, including 40% of the auto industry, which again, we know is clawing back because of President Trump's action already. These are harrowing statistics that represent countless towns and families who have been completely destroyed. But the America Last globalist era is ending under President Trump. He will no longer allow our country and our workers, our hardworking American families, to be ripped off. On another very important issue for the president, he continues to work hard to secure the border. If you missed it yesterday, CBP launched an enhanced home mobile app with a new feature, the Intent to Depart, which offers unlawfully present aliens or those aliens whose parole has been revoked an orderly and defined process to notify the U.S. government of their intent to depart the country. The CBP Home app strengthens our mission to secure the border and provides illegal aliens with a straightforward way to leave now before facing much harsher consequences later.
If you get detained by ICE.
A new report from Bloomberg just found that the number of aliens trying to reach...
Wait, this is so much easier to... Hey, I'm on the Intent to Depart app. I'm leaving on the 31st. I'm leaving on the 31st. ICE like, okay. Wait, what's your name again? Julio Gonzalez, run that. Oh, okay, you ain't got no felonies, but you better get up out of here. Don't make us come back. Oh, hey, see you tomorrow. I know come back.
Our country by traveling through the jungle to Central America dropped a whopping 99% last month. And this follows the incredible news that illegal border crossings plummeted last month as well, down 94% at our southern border from last February under the Biden administration. As President Trump made clear during his historic address to Congress, we must finish this job and continue to carry out the largest deportation campaign in American history. And that is why the president fully endorses the continuing resolution that is before Congress and was negotiated by Speaker Johnson. He is encouraging all Republicans to vote yes on this clean CR, which freezes funding at current levels and will prevent the Democrats from getting their long-awaited government shutdown.
All right, so the House and Senate have put together, under the circumstances, a very good funding bill, CR. I didn't watch a lot of videos today at all. I was busy with CapCut and trying to catch up on my naps. Because last night I got no sleep. Let's see. All Republicans should vote, please, yes, next week. Great things are coming for America, and I'm asking you all to give us a few months to get us through to September so we can continue to put the country's financial house in order. Democrats will do anything they can to shut down our government, and we can't let that happen. We have to remain united. No dissent. Fight for another day when the timing is right. Very important. Make America great again. In other words, do understand the Republicans, of course, they have the House and the Senate and Congress. The thing about it is that the Democrats have been they're in the ears of certain people that they know that they can slip a manila envelope to vote their way. All right. But he's like, yo, no dissent. In other words, just look, trust me, I got this. We don't have time for all this rigmarole BS that the Democrats are doing, because in all honesty, they're just trying to stop us from killing their slush funds. So relax, just vote, go with what I'm doing. In all honesty, what he should do, what Donald Trump should do, him and JD Vance and, his team, Marco Rubio, Pam Bondi and the rest, come together with all of the Democrats. With all of the Republicans, have a private meeting with them and be like, hey, look, this is what I'm trying to do. This is the plan, ABCD. Do not mess this up. Because if you mess this up, then you're screwing up America. Let's be honest. We're $36 trillion in debt. People are bitching, moaning, whining, and crying about losing jobs. I'm going to fix that. How many times have I said it's going to get worse before it gets better? Right now, this is the worst part. But like he said, get us through September. That's when things will get better. This way, by come the midterms in 2 years, 2026, if people are running for a Republican in Democratic areas, they should win those seats. They should win those seats. Even if you're a Democrat that agrees with what's going on, hey, we can bring jobs to this area. I can talk to Trump. I've got the ear of Trump, the White House. I can bring a manufacturing job here. We've got the area. We've got the people. I just need for you guys to vote for me. Trust me, I got the plan. I can bring a job. I can bring jobs here. This, in all honesty, if you're a Democrat and you want to stay in power as a Democrat in some podunk town or whatever, what you need to do is stop trying to be a dissenter. Stop with the treasonous ideology and be like, hey, look, I know you guys need jobs. I'm in the White House. I'm in Congress. I've got the ear of the Republicans. I can bring jobs here. You just have to trust me. Stop all of this trying to vote for men and women's sports and pedophiles in schools. Stop that stuff. Nobody cares anymore. People want to work. People got kids to raise. They got bills to pay. They need groceries. They need to work. They need adult jobs. Working at a goddamn Burger King is not going to pay the bills and put food on the table like that. So as a Democrat, change your messaging. Work with the Republicans to bring some type of jobs to your area. Scout stuff out. Find an old factory. Hey, look, can we get this old tire factory back? Can we get this old manufacturing factory back? This trucking, this shipping area that's been abandoned for the past 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 years. Can we use this for shipping? Whatever. Get it back. Try to get it back. Stop being a dummy and get the jobs back into your community. That should be what the Democrats should be focused on. Not having Trump derangement syndrome. Work for your people, not against your government. To hell with your party. To hell with towing the party line. Get your people some employment so they can eat and feel good about themselves. That's how you get elected. By doing something for the people, not for your party.
Voting against this CR will hurt the American people and kill the incredible momentum that President Trump has built over the past 51 days. And lastly, before I take questions, I would like to commend the Washington Post, who I believe is in the room today, According to a new report from Axios, the Washington Post is overhauling their newsroom structure. It appears that the mainstream media, including the Post, is finally learning that having disdain for more than half of the country who supports this president does not help you sell newspapers. It's not a very good business model.
No, it is not.
And that's why we have people in our new media seat. And today we have Sargar Anetti, who is the host of Breaking Points, a popular political YouTube news and podcast show that has racked up nearly 1 billion views on YouTube, several hundred million podcast downloads since its launch in June 2021. He's also a former member of the White House Correspondents Association, but is now a part of the thriving independent media. We're very happy to have you with us here today. Why don't you kick off our briefing? Thank you.
Really appreciate you having me, Karoline. A couple of questions for you, if I may. First on the stock market. So currently it's the 25th anniversary today of the dot-com bubble crash. There's a lot of concern for a lot of Americans right now about the state of the economy. President Trump has refused to rule out a recession. Secretary Lutnick, however, has told us there will not be one. So can the White House just tell and assure Americans today that there's not going to be a recession?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. So let me start by saying that, first of all, when it comes to the stock market, the numbers that we see today, the numbers we saw yesterday, the numbers we'll see tomorrow are a snapshot of a moment in time. And as President Trump has said, and I'm here to echo the remarks of this president, of this White House, we are in a period of economic transition. We are in a period of transition from the mess that was created under Joe Biden in the previous administration. Joe Biden left this country in an economic disaster. Several statistics to point out. The delinquency rate on credit card loans increased 63% under Joe Biden, hitting a near 12-year high. Under Joe Biden, all net job growth went to foreign-born Americans. Real wages declined by 1.5% under Joe Biden. And as we all know, and this administration continues to combat, prices soared more than 20% under Joe Biden because of his reckless spending and economic policies. So we are in a period of transition from that economic nightmare under a president who had no idea what he was doing, never held a private sector job in his life, into a golden age of American manufacturing under a businessman and a deal maker in chief in President Donald J. Trump, who is implementing the formula that we know works. Look at President Trump's results in his first term. If people are looking for certainty, they should look at the record of this president. That's why the American people reelected him back to this office. And look at everything that President Trump has already done and his team has already done in just 51 days. The massive efforts to deregulate, tax cuts, which we need Congress to pass the Trump economic agenda, the Trump tax cuts, which will unleash economic growth. And the president also addressed this directly, I will point out as well, when you look at what he said on Air Force One. And he said he wants the American people to have so much money in their pockets they don't even know what to do with it. That's the intent of this administration, and we're working very hard every day on that goal.
Second question on the CR. So President Trump came out today in a primary challenge against Congressman Thomas Massie. Congressman Massie's been a supporter of DOGE. He's been a supporter of Make America Healthy Again. What kind of message is this White House sending against a congressman who's sticking up for principles that he's long held in the chamber and voting against continuing resolution and spending?
I think the president has made it very clear that he believes it's critical for conservatives and Republicans and frankly all members of Congress to get behind this continuing resolution to keep the government funded. The president wants to continue the momentum that he has built over the last 51 days. In order to keep the government funded, we got to keep moving with these deportations. And he believes that everybody needs to get on board with this bill. He's been active in this process. He's been making calls to get this over the finish line. And we're urging every Republican and Democrats too to do what's right for the American public to prevent a government shutdown.
Just the last question here on Mahmoud Khalil. Does the administration believe that it needs to charge a green card holder with a crime to be eligible for deportation?
Well, in fact, Secretary Rubio reserves the right to revoke the visa of Mahmoud Khalil. And I'm glad you brought this up. Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the Secretary of State has the right to revoke a green card or a visa for individuals who serve or are adversarial to the foreign policy and national security interests of the United States of America. And Mahmoud Khalil was an individual who was given the privilege of coming to this country to study at one of our nation's finest universities and colleges. And he took advantage of that opportunity, of that privilege, by siding with terrorists, Hamas terrorists who have killed innocent men, women, and children. This is an individual who organized group protests that not only disrupted college campus classes and harassed Jewish American students and made them feel unsafe on their own college campus, but also distributed pro-Hamas propaganda, flyers with the logo of Hamas. That is what the behavior and activity that this individual engaged in. And I have those flyers on my desk. They were provided to me by the Department of Homeland Security. I thought about bringing them into this briefing room to share with all of you, but I didn't think it was worth the dignity of this room to bring that pro-Hamas propaganda. But that's what this individual distributed on the campus of Columbia University. And this administration is not going to tolerate individuals having the privilege of studying in our country and then siding with pro-terrorist organizations that have killed Americans. We have a zero tolerance policy for siding with terrorists, period.
You know, the funny thing about that is I'm checking my stocks now. It looks like I lost money. Let's see, I lost $13 on US Steel, $40 on Apple, and $98 on Nvidia. But I made, this is so funny. This is so funny. I made $40.91 on THNQ, $40.34 on AIQ, and $20. $20 on SIL, which is Global Silver, and $11.30 on BOTZ bots. Now, this I'm laughing because THNQ, AIQ, and bots are the artificial girlfriend apps. They're the artificial girlfriend apps that I invested in a long time ago. About almost 2 years ago, I invested in these apps, and they're spiking. They're spiking. While the other apps, the other investments are dropping, but it's fine because, you know, stocks are a roller coaster. But I'm laughing that the jack off apps maybe what? Let's see, 81, about $93 today. Oh. I'm laughing at that. No, but getting back to Karoline Leavitt and what she was talking, Karoline Leavitt, and what she was talking about with that guy who was, you know, getting deported, and a judge blocked his deportation. And you got Candace Owens and supposedly who's the linebacker chick in New York that's going up against Trump, Letitia James. They're talking, oh no, freedom of speech. Like, no. Understand something here. This is America, Jack. You don't do terroristic activities in America. You don't root and support terrorists here in America. Last year, when all this stuff was going on college campuses, the first thing I asked, I said, why the hell are they letting this go on? What are you doing? What are you doing? The National Guard needs to come in and shut this down. But they didn't. And you had violence on campus, destruction of property. All right? I know, I get it. Whatever you feel, it doesn't matter what you feel about small hats. Not every small hat is with the business. You know, they're not with the whatever. It doesn't really matter. You know what? It doesn't even matter. Because let's say it was a bunch of white inferiority complex people who had a problem with Somalians, and they decided to attack whoever looked black or just black people, period. You would be pissed off. You'd be like, where's the National Guard? Where's security? I can't even go to school because These inferior-minded white people want to attack me because I'm black. You be pissed. Any other, you just swap out the ethnic groups or because understand Jews are not a race, they're a religion. Any other religious or racial group, you switch them out. Put yourself in them shoes. It don't matter. You're here in America. It don't matter. You don't do it. It don't matter what you think about them. The law is the law. The law is there to protect you too. You may not feel protected, but the law is the law. Do certain people get special treatment? Of course they do. But the law is the law. The law is the law. You're not allowed to engage in terrorist activities here on American soil. There's a reason why the Klan was labeled a terrorist organization, and they very rarely stick their heads up except to have a stupid parade in Cincinnati or up in Columbus where they get beat up by a bunch of black people and chased back into their U-Haul trucks and drive off, even though they were armed. They got mollywopped in Columbus on a bridge. Some people don't play them games no more. This is a whole new day. But the campus of Columbia let all this go on. So yeah, that dude is going to get deported, whether he got a green card or not. Ilhan Omar is next in line. We still got the bet going, the betting pool going. Who's going to be the first one to get the government boot up their ass? Ilhan Omar or AOC? Which one of the two? AOC is a moron. Ilhan Omar is just as stupid because she thinks that she can say whatever the hell she want to say and not face any punishment because she's a member of Congress. She thinks that, oh, they're not going to touch me. Yeah, you let the Biden, AOC and Ilhan Omar and Jasmine Crockett what's it, Aisha Presley and that Hispanic chick, y'all got the Biden administration. The Biden administration has got y'all thinking that you can do whatever you want to, but you got life fucked up, and you about to find out the hard way that you're dealing with a grown man's administration, not an effeminate, soft, beta cuck administration. Those days are over. This is a grown man's administration, and these people use the buckle end when they come after you. Do you understand? They use the buckle end on you. Trust me, Ilhan Omar, they will revoke your little granted citizenship status that they gave you at 17. They will revoke it and send your trash ass back to Somalia to go live in a fucking hut somewhere where you came from. Keep fucking around. They are already circling a petition to deport you, and people are actually signing it. Since you want to call Republicans or people who voted for Donald Trump stupid, who's the real dummy? The people who voted for Trump or the dumb black chick from a mud hut who somehow found her way in Congress running around calling people stupid for voting Republican in a majority Republican House and Senate and Congress and President when they're cracking down on illegal immigration? You're a moron. AOC sitting up here passing out leaflets and everything. I mean, they got this woman dead to rights committing illegal immigration fraud. A staffer of hers was an illegal immigrant. He's self-deported. And it's like, hold on, chick. You hired this guy? Whose social security number was he using to cash his checks? To so-called pay his taxes? Whose social security number was he using? Was they sitting here and talking about, oh, he wants to cut Medicaid and Social Security? Yeah, of people like him who shouldn't be here, who is committing identity fraud. How else do you have somebody 300 something years old getting a social security check? I'm saying, dude is older than the country. I mean, come on. You're begging to be deported. You're begging to go to prison. You're begging for it. You need to shut the fuck up and sit down and mind your own goddamn business and try to be you need to oil that squeaky wheel of your mouth. Just shut it up. Sit down and vote everything yes for the Republicans. Keep your name out of the news. But that's not what you're doing. Ooh, that's not what you're doing. What's up, blood boiling? You say their day of reckoning is coming. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Wait till Cash Patel get his team together.
Peter Ducey.
Thank you, Karoline. So you said that the Dow dropping is a period of transition. You're sure nobody here at the White House shorted the Dow?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But is there any concern here that it's going to be harder to ask certain federal workers to retire if they look at their retirement accounts and they're getting robbed every day?
Well, I'm glad you brought up workers, because that's exactly who President Trump is looking out for with his America First trade policy and his America First economic agenda. And if you look at, there's great indication to be optimistic about where the economy stands. And the American people, investors, CEOs, small business owners, but most importantly, workers, should bet on President Trump, because his tariff policies, what he envisions is reciprocity, fair trade practices where American workers are put first and are no longer ripped off by foreign countries all over this world.
President Trump says he's going to buy a Tesla today. Did he buy it? And when is the last time he drove a car?
That's a very good question. I have heard the president remark that he misses being able to drive, that luxury of driving his own vehicle, although the beast is nice. But he is going to be viewing a Tesla that is making its way to the White House complex now, I can confirm. Perhaps the press pool today will have an opportunity to witness this very exciting moment later this afternoon.
We're going to take a look at that. Hold on.
A Tesla is on its way here now, and we'll see if the president likes it when he checks it out.
So they're bringing him a Tesla to look at, and if he likes it, he's just going to buy it.
You know, he's definitely going to buy one, but he'll take a look at it when it gets here later this afternoon.
Full retail?
Yes, full market price. Kelly.
Can we talk about Canada? What is the status of President Trump having a conversation with Mark Carney? Mm-hmm. We have seen the president use the term governor to refer to Justin Trudeau. Will that moniker also go to Mr. Carney going forward? And is the decision to increase the tariffs, is that based on a specific economic metric that he looked at? Is it impulse? How would you describe his reaction to Canada?
The president has not yet spoken to Mr. Carney, not since I checked, which was just moments ago. But certainly his phone is always open to leaders who wish to speak with him. As for the tariffs, the president made his position on this quite clear with the statement that he put out. And it was a retaliatory statement due to the escalation of rhetoric that we've seen out of Ontario, Canada. The president saw the premier, Doug Ford, make an egregious and insulting comment threatening to shut down electricity for the American people, for hardworking American families. He made that threat. The president saw that and has an obligation and a responsibility to respond accordingly and represent the interests of the American people. So he has made the decision to add a 25% tariff. So now steel and aluminum tariffs will come into effect tomorrow at the rate of 50%. And our steel and aluminum industries have actually applauded these tariffs because, again, they know it's going to grow their industry here. It's going to allow them to export more steel that is made right here in the United States with American workers.
By the way, the new Canadian Prime Minister, the little crap that he said, he reversed it. He bent the knee. He kissed the ring, baby. Kiss the ring.
Egregious and insulting are your words here, but that's what many Canadian leaders have said about the actions President Trump has taken toward Canada. And what do you think the timeline is for speaking to Mr. Carney? Because normally a sitting president speaks to a close ally very quickly when there's new leadership.
Well, the president is, again, responding to the fact that Canada has been ripping off the United States of America and hardworking Americans for decades. If you look at the rates of tariffs across the board that Canadians have been imposing on the American people and our workers here, it is egregious. In fact, I have a handy dandy chart here that shows not just Canada, but the rate of tariffs across the board. If you look at Canada, since you brought it up, American cheese and butter, nearly 300% tariff. You look at India, 150% tariff on American alcohol. You think that's helping Kentucky bourbon be exported into India? I don't think so. 100% tariff on agricultural products from India. Look at Japan, tariffing rice, 700%. President Trump believes in reciprocity, and it is about dang time that we have a president who actually looks out for the interests of American businesses and workers. And all he's asking for at the end of the day are fair and balanced trade practices. And unfortunately, Canada has not been treating us very fairly at all over the past several decades. To the woman in the purple, because I saw you were making a face at my previous answer. So what's going on?
What you got to say? Run your mouth, kid.
I have a couple of questions. At the core of pro-Palestinian protests on college campuses and elsewhere is a demand to end the war in Gaza, a goal that this administration actually supports and has pursued. So why has this not been acknowledged or highlighted even?
Because these colleges and these protests have again put out Hamas propaganda. The flyers that have been distributed call for violence. The flyers that have been distributed have the logo of an organization that has held Americans hostage, that murdered innocent babies, that murdered men, women, and children. They are a designated foreign terrorist organization, and we are not going to tolerate non-citizens, foreigners who come here on a visa engaging in such behavior, siding with terrorists. And the Secretary of State reserves the authority to revoke the green card or the visa of an individual who serves as an actually, it says right here, reasonable grounds to believe that the alien's presence or activities in the United States would have potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences to the United States. And I think siding with Hamas makes that quite clear. Secretary Rubio exercised that authority, and we fully believe that we are going to move forward with more arrests, as President Trump previewed in his statement yesterday.
That's my girl.
Go ahead.
So are there conversations between the administration and the Canadians going on over this tariff? Because the Ontario Premier says the next step is to cut off electricity to the U.S.
And the president put out a statement after seeing those comments and said that it would be there would be grave consequences imposed on Canada if they think about shutting off electricity for the United States of America and our citizens. And the president is also determined to ensure that we are depending on American electricity, not the electricity production of foreign nations, including our allies in Canada. As for conversations, there is continued correspondence between the president's team, particularly Secretary Lutnick, and the Canadians as well.
But like I said,
how do you sell to
Canadian Prime Minister changed
looking at what's happening in the markets this week and say that the tariff policy long term is something good?
Well, just think about what the tariff policy long-term will do for our country. I think many of us probably grew up in small towns. I know at least I did. And the main street in my small town looks a heck of a lot worse than it probably did decades ago before I was alive. At least my parents and grandparents tell me so. And I know many Americans feel that same way. What the president envisions for this country is for the United States of America to be a manufacturing superpower, where there are American factories and businesses owned by Americans, producing goods that we are exporting to the rest of the world. Those revenues will stay here. It will increase wages for people here in our great country. It will ensure our national security, and it will boost the morale of the American people to have thriving industries again. Think about Detroit, Michigan. Think about North Carolina, as I mentioned, that used to have a thriving furniture industry that no longer exists because of the globalist trade policies of previous and past administrations. And the American people gave the president president and a tremendous opportunity to restore American greatness and restore our manufacturing dominance. And he's intent on doing just that. John.
Thanks a lot, Karoline. Two questions for you. First, on the CR, you put up on the screen the president's message to Republicans to support this continuing resolution. Is there outreach to Democrats? Because what we've seen since the beginning of the fiscal year is that in order to get a continuing resolution, you need bipartisan support and you need compromise.
Well, right now, we are focused on House Republicans and on the House, because that's the first step, as you know, John. And so the president has engaged in correspondence with House Republicans, whipping votes and getting them to a yes, which I understand has been pretty successful this morning thus far. And so, again, the president is encouraging Republicans, especially, but again, as I said, all members of Congress to vote to continue funding this government so we can continue the business of the American people, which elected President Trump to do.
Then on financial markets, we've seen this decline yesterday. We see it today as well. It seems that the read on the president's policies is one in which they do not have confidence in his trade tariffs policy. They do not have confidence in what the president said to Fox News over the weekend, that he didn't rule out the idea of a recession. What is your read in terms of the decline that we've seen over the last week and a half in financial markets?
Well, I think there's actually a lot of reason to be confident, and many people do feel confident. Just look at the nearly $2 trillion in private investment that this president has secured. Look at the comments made by the CEO of Apple, one of the biggest companies in this world, who said that he is bullish on the future of American innovation under the leadership of President Trump. Look at CEO confidence. According to the Conference Board measure of CEO confidence, in Q1 2025, under the leadership of this president, it jumped to its highest level in 3 years, from cautious optimism to confident optimism. If you, again, look at the $2 trillion in investments from some of the biggest companies in the world, look at the jobs report last Friday, as I also cited in my opening remarks. Fox Business reported that Trump sees a manufacturing boom in first full jobs report of his second term. Look at the auto jobs that have already poured back into America. We added 9,000 new auto jobs. Those are sticky jobs. Those are good paying jobs. That's 9,000 American families who will now be able to live the American dream because of the policies of this administration. You also look at small business optimism. The NFIB put out a report this morning. Small business optimism continues to be far higher than it ever was under the previous administration. There's a lot of reason to be optimistic. And again, the American people, CEOs and people on Wall Street and on Main Street should bet on this president. He is a deal maker. He is a businessman, and he's doing what's right for our country. He wants to restore wealth to the United States of America.
Getting back to that, I need to look at some of these auto industry stocks to see who's out there. I mean, not to really get into the money part of it, but I mean, do understand this is the money part of it. You need to see what those stocks look like Nvidia, Apple. What was the other one? US Steel. I know they're low right now, and the best thing to do is to buy low. With stocks, you buy low, sell high. With them dropping, you're getting them at such discounted prices right now, because eventually they will bounce back up. They'll bounce back up. They'll bounce back up. And before you know it, by the time 2028 come, you'll be straight. You'll be straight. If not sooner, but by 2028, you should definitely be straight. So, like I said, I bought the stock. I just took a look at it today. It's been about a week or two, about 2 weeks since I last looked at it. I'm straight. I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking. If anything, if it drops any lower by I would say at least by April 2nd, April 1st or whatever, if it drops any lower, I'll buy more shares. I'll buy more shares because I know eventually they're going to bounce back up, and it's going to be a killing. They're going to make a killing. They're going to make a killing. Woo! 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 They're going to make a killing.
Michael, good to see you.
Hey, Karoline, thank you. Two questions, if I may. Will the administration be providing any
Here he is right here.
to states affected by the Ontario power tariff?
Well, the president has made it very clear that Canada would be very wise not to shut off electricity for the American people.
They did.
And we hope
Like
that
I said,
that's
they
not
changed their
happening.
mind.
As for what would happen if that does take place, I'll leave it to the president to make those decisions.
Does President Trump share the Justice Department's concern over rising egg prices and possible collusion of big egg?
Well, we definitely do share the concerns of the American people when it comes to the price of eggs. However, good news, the average cost of a dozen eggs is actually down since Secretary Rollins and President Trump announced their plan. It's down $1.85. So that's good news on the cost of eggs. And as we know, under the Biden administration, egg prices went up 22%. This is another example of an economic mess that President Trump inherited, and the Secretary of Agriculture and the president are focused on fixing it. Secretary Rollins put out a 4-point plan rather, to address this crisis. And she has been honest and realistic with the American people, as this administration always is. It will take about 3 to 6 months to get the egg supply back to where it should be. But she's focused, and this administration is focused on doing that every day. Karen.
Thanks, Caroline.
To go back over this, when you see Democrats bitching about the egg prices, understand that because of bird flu under the Biden administration, they slaughtered over 1 million chickens. So yes, eggs and chicken prices are high right now. Somebody was saying about a week or so ago, yeah, well, they're hoarding the eggs. Like, yeah, because you can't just every egg you get, you throw it out there, because then what happens when the hens die and you've given away all the eggs? Guess what? You have no hens to lay new eggs. So you have to reserve some. To let the chicks hatch, grow into hens, to lay more eggs. Meanwhile, you have a supply of eggs that you keep, on emergency status. Meanwhile, it's like a half and half. We sell you this, we keep this in reserve, and we use this to produce new chickens, to lay eggs. We got the roosters. The roosters are just, if you're a rooster, man, you getting it in. You getting it in, bro. You a rooster, you getting it in. You're like, damn, ooh, it's about to fall off. Roosters are getting it in. They walking around with their head cut to the side, smoking a cigarette, a little thing of cognac. Woo! Viagra in the water. The roosters is doing their job, man. They like, yo, we trying to get it. We trying to help you. We trying to help y'all out. We working as fast as we can, senor. But it's going to take a couple months for egg prices to drop, because you have to not only replenish the chickens that you lost, but once you get the chickens that you lost, once those chicks grow up to be chickens and the roosters, have their way with these chickens, okay, then you start producing those eggs, then the egg prices will drop, because it's all about supply and demand. In fact, the last time I was at Walmart, I saw that the egg area had a lot more eggs than before. I'm like, okay, all right, because not every egg comes from the same farm. They come from different farms. So you're starting to see the eggs come in. They may be a little high, but that's fine, because I buy the 64 pack. Where they come with, I buy the 64 large pack. So boom, it's in there. I buy eggs maybe once a month. My father, he has an egg with his waffles, a cheese egg with his waffle every day. He has an egg every day. I have an egg. Well, not every day, but every other day, whatever. But every day he gets a cheese egg and a waffle. So once a month, and 64 eggs go. They go. They go. Maybe a month and a half, but the eggs go. But once a month, I'm always going to buy eggs. I get the 64 pack. But I'm starting to see the eggs come back. I'm starting to see the chickens. The chicken meat is slowly coming back from certain farms. So it's, it's supply and demand. You got to give it time. You got to give it time. I mean, damn, the money ain't even been in office 2 months yet. Relax. Shoot, people act like he's Superman.
Right. Just back on the markets, you said that what we're seeing this week right now on Wall Street is a snapshot of a moment in time. But does the president think he bears any responsibility for the turmoil in the stock market this week?
Look, the president is unwavering in his commitment to restore American manufacturing and global dominance. And I think he doubled down on that this morning with his new statement and the tariffs that will be implemented tomorrow on steel and aluminum.
And he has said recently he's not looking at the market. He said you can't really watch the stock market, but all of the gains since election day have been erased in the S&P 500. At what point, how far do stocks have to fall before the president considers it a factor?
That's good to hear.
Again, as I just said, the president will look out for Wall Street and for Main Street, just like he did in his first term. And people on Wall Street and Main Street should bet on this president. He's doing what's right for this country. Nick, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you, Karoline. So, is the president prepared, like what we saw with Congressman Massey, to pressure other Republican lawmakers into supporting this continuing resolution?
Well, he is very much, as I said, engaged in this process. He's been making calls to lawmakers on Capitol Hill, and I think his statements against Congressman Massey speak for themselves. And I will let the president put out any additional statements if he chooses to, but he fully expects all House Republicans to vote for this continuing resolution.
And just to follow up, can we start to anticipate seeing more of the president weighing in on upcoming 2026 races like we saw this morning?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to speak about that from this podium. I would check in with our outside political team for guidance on future races and the president's involvement. Elena.
Thank you. I wanted to ask about some comments
made
yesterday. He said that there is $500 to $700 billion in waste and fraud and entitlement spending. He called it, quote, the big one to eliminate. Earlier this month, he also referred to Social Security as a Ponzi scheme. Should Americans expect changes, big changes to Social Security and Medicare?
President Trump has been unequivocally clear on this. He is going to protect Social Security and Medicare benefits and Medicaid for hardworking Americans who paid into these entitlement programs and deserve those hard-earned benefits. And unfortunately, the mainstream media has taken Mr. Musk out of context. I saw a Bloomberg headline that our team actually worked on getting updated and fixed because it was so wrong, and it took Mr. Musk out of context. What he was specifically referring to cutting was the waste and the fraud and abuse that does exist in these programs. According to an IG report from the Social Security Administration, there's more than $70 billion of fraud in the Social Security program alone that we know of. And so the president will continue to protect these programs for hardworking Americans, and actually cutting the waste, fraud, and abuse out of these programs will protect it for hardworking Americans.
Just to be clear, the fraud, waste, and abuse that they're talking about in Social Security and Medicaid is people that are illegal. Majority of the people are illegal that are on these programs. Okay? Doesn't matter whether they've been here 2 years, 20 years, 2 minutes. They shouldn't be on it. They're collecting checks. They're collecting checks of dead people. You kill that. You cut off their money. You cut off the money of the illegals. You're saving billions of dollars. Flat out. If you're an American citizen like I am, you have nothing to worry about. They know who you are. They know who you are. All they do is go through your Social Security number. Oh, you're alive this long? Hold on. Well, let's check your bank account. What the hell you mean you've been working at Luigi's Pizza for 5 years? You're 126 years old. Like, are you serious? Glue, snip, cut. The Democrats are trying to, like she said, they only go by, well, he's cutting Medicaid. He's cutting Social Security. The Democrats, he's cutting Social Security. That's the message that they put out. But they leave out the part that he's cutting Social Security of people who are defrauding the system. There are very few people in this world that are living past the age of 100 years old, let alone 100. Do you know? Look, if somebody's over 120 years old, and when their birthday come up, they're on the news. I can't even. I don't even know. You really think there are millions of people over 120 years old? Seriously? 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 Like I said, illegals use those social security numbers, and they're collecting checks. They need to be cut off.
Karoline, respectfully, he said around 500 to 700 billion dollars. There was no evidence to claim that, and also, if that is the case, that would represent more than a third.
Oh, she right here.
What Social Security paid out last year, maybe 20% of Social Security.
Well,
and Medicare.
again, if you read his full quote, he said, "We think." So it's an estimate based on what he's seen. He's not saying definitively. He's saying that's what Doge suspects and thinks. And that's exactly why Doge was created, to ensure that we are investigating the fraudulent spending, the wasteful abuse across our federal government. And I would remind everybody in this room that 77% of the American people support this effort by Elon Musk and Doge to identify such waste, fraud, and abuse. Go ahead.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Step back for a second. When President Trump last addressed the BRT when he was on the campaign trail, his big push was on tax cuts. He's going there today as he's proposing tax hikes in the form of tariffs.
Not true.
I'm curious
He's not doing
why
that.
he's prioritizing that over the tax cuts.
He's actually not implementing tax hikes. Tariffs are a tax hike on foreign countries that, again, have been ripping us off. Tariffs are a tax cut for the American people. And the president is a staunch advocate of tax cuts. As you know, he campaigned on no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security benefits. He is committed to all three of those things, and he expects Congress to pass them later this year.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have.
That's
They
it.
don't
The
get
tariff,
charged on foreign
motherfucker.
companies. They get charged on the importers.
Wait, stop. Check this fine ass Indian chick or whatever she is. Check her reaction when he said he paid a tax on a tariff. Like, I'm sorry, what business do you own that has tariffs, bruh? But check her expression when he say that.
Of those things, and he expects Congress to pass them later this year.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have.
That's
They
it.
don't get charged on foreign companies. They get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you are trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press. Mary.
Oh, that's why she's the sniper. That's why she's the sniper. But yeah, that little Indian chick was like, oh my God. Like, did he really just ask that question? Did he really say that? And Karoline Leavitt just like, get the hell out of here. Like, this is why we kicked you out. This is exactly why we kicked the AP out. You guys are morons. What do you mean what multi-billion-dollar business do you own as a reporter that you're paying a tax on a tariff? Man, shut up. Oh my God. Shut up.
Mary, go ahead.
Karoline, I have two, if that's okay. The first one was on Russia, Ukraine. I know Special Envoy Witkoff said yesterday that Zelensky apologized in his letter to Trump. Can you share any more about that letter and what else might be interesting from it that we don't know?
Yes, the president did reference that letter, as you're saying.
Yes, by the way, Zelensky bent himself over the couch. He had the Astroglide. He squirted it on there. You know, he wrote Diddy, how do I make it easy? And Diddy told him to just breathe. Just breathe and take that. And Zelensky caved. He's ready to sign the deal. He is ready to sign the deal because Russia escalated their attacks. They started using missiles. Yeah. Ukraine used their little drones, the U.S. drones on Russia, but Russia was like, nope, we firing missiles on your ass. We're going to engage into you. We're not even going to send any more troops. We're just going to start blowing your shit up with missiles. No more ground war. We're done. We're done turning the front lines into a meat factory. We're just going to start missiling your shit. And Zelensky, knowing that the UK and NATO can't protect him, decided to go ahead and, bite the pillow and, told Trump to go slow.
In his joint address to Congress. And I do have an update.
Love it.
As you know, Secretary of State Rubio and our National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, have been negotiating with the Ukrainians today in Saudi. They will be providing a full readout of that meeting very soon. But I can assure you and everybody here and the American people that the news we've received from that meeting throughout the day and the president has been briefed on is positive. This meeting has been productive. I will let Secretary of Rubio and our Secretary of State Rubio and our National Security Advisor speak to the specifics of what has taken place today when they are ready to do so when the meeting concludes. Lindsay, go ahead.
Referring to Mahmoud Khalil, the president has said this is the first of many arrests like this. Does the administration have a rough estimate of how many arrests you're planning to make similar?
I don't have an estimate. I do know that DHS, based on very good intel that they have gathered at the direction of the president's executive order, which made it very clear to the Department of Homeland Security that engaging, as I said, in anti-American, anti-Semitic, pro-Hamas protests will not be tolerated. So since the president signed that executive order and since Secretary of Known has taken the oath at DHS, they have been using intelligence to identify individuals on our nation's colleges and universities, on our college campuses who have engaged in such behavior and activity, and especially illegal activity. And so I don't have a readout on how many arrests will come, but I do know that DHS is actively working on it. And I also know that Columbia University has been given the names of other individuals who have engaged in pro-Hamas activity, and they are refusing to help DHS identify those individuals on campus. And as the president said very strongly in his statement yesterday, he is not going to tolerate that. And we expect all America's colleges and universities to comply with this administration's policy.
What type of stupid, goofy college protects terrorists? That's why you cut your funding. That's why you cut your federal funding. Why are you protecting terrorists? Why are you protecting people who are threatening other students on campus simply based on their religion? Are you serious? Freedom, look, freedom of speech does not equal freedom of consequence. You can yell fire right now, wherever you fire, but you can't yell it in a crowded movie theater or a crowded public event or anything like that because it causes mass panic. Yeah, you have the freedom to do it, but that doesn't mean that you have the freedom of not suffering the consequences for it because you could cause mass panic. Flat out. People forget the byline of freedom of speech. But Patterson, New Jersey, I posted the story where they have Palestinian Muslims, they're taking over Patterson, New Jersey, and you have people in my comment section, liberals of course, who are applauding it. And I'm like, oh my God, like you people are so stupid. Never mind. Woo.
Jasmine.
On Canada, after all of these threats to increase tariffs or turn off electricity, I wonder, does this administration still consider Canada to be a close ally of the United States?
Well, I think Canada is a neighbor. They are a partner. They have always been an ally. Perhaps they are becoming a competitor now. But as the president also laid out in his Truth Social post today, he believes that Canadians would benefit greatly from becoming the 51st state of the United States of America. And I actually looked into some of the research about the cost of living in Canada, and the cost of living is much higher than it is here in the United States of America. The average cost of a home in Canada is much higher. In Quebec, The highest tax rate for an income of $150,000 or more is 53.3%, more than half of Canadians' incomes they are being taxed on. So the president has made it clear that he believes Canadians would be better served economically, militarily, if they were to become the 51st state of the United States of America.
And socially.
Reagan.
Thank you, Caroline. A week ago, Attorney General Bondi said a truckload of Epstein files had been delivered to her office from the SDNY. When can we expect those files to be released to the public?
I would defer you to the Department of Justice. I don't have a timeline here.
Do you have any update on the JFK files?
I don't at this moment. Again, I would defer you to our DNI director, Tulsi Gabbard, and also the Department of Justice. I know that they are working on that diligently, as the president requested them to do. Christian.
Thanks, Caroline. 2 questions. Since we've been talking about tariffs, have there been any updates on standing up the External Revenue Service to collect revenue from that?
Well, we need reciprocal tariffs to go into effect first. And as you know, the president will be rolling those out on April 2nd. And then the next start of that process is collecting that revenue to ultimately create the External Revenue Service, which Secretary Lutnick is working very hard on and is quite enthusiastic about, if you have noticed from his media interviews.
Can the president do that through executive action, or will it require legislation?
Well, the president already signed an executive order to direct the Secretary of Commerce to establish the External Revenue Service, or at least to identify ways in which it can be done. I would defer you to the Department of Commerce for more on specifics on that. Sure.
Thank you very much, Caroline. I have 2 questions on South Korea and North Korea. First question, as you know, South Korean President Yoon has been released from illegal detention. What is the reaction of the United States as an ally? Is there a possibility of a summit with President Trump when President Yoon returns? Second question on North Korea. North Korea launched the several ballistic missiles into the West Coast yesterday. What is the White House's reaction on this?
Sure. Yes, I'll start with your question on North Korea. We condemn these actions and we call on North Korea to stop their unlawful and destabilizing actions. As for South Korea, the U.S. and Republic of Korea's alliance is ironclad, and the Trump administration remains in close contact with our South Korean counterparts as we work together to promote a free and open Indo-Pacific.
Speaking of which, y'all know that whole Johnny Somali situation, that IRL streamer that's looking at least 10 years prison time in South Korea. This moron, not only did he show up to his court hearing hungover, he showed up late because he was up till like 3 a.m. drinking, live streaming, to the point where he threw up. He showed up late wearing a Make America Great Again, a Trump hat. Was told several times to remove it, said some outlandish things while he was in court. And he's under the impression that because the US and South Korea has such a strong alliance, that quote unquote Trump is going to get him out of this mess. He's under that impression. Like, dude, I hate to tell you this, but Trump is not coming to get your goofy self out of trouble in South Korea. You greatly offended those people and you committed serious felonies over there. There's nothing to trade for. You are so insignificant. You're so insignificant. And I think he's like, what, about 5'3", barely 115, 120 pounds. And the whole country hates you. They still have a bounty out on him. They literally have a bounty out on him. I think he's been to court twice so far. He's got new charges that he didn't know anything about. I mean, he's facing 10 years just on the AI video that he made where he was kissing. He did an AI video where he was kissing another girl that's a Korean. And as far as like, a fake video, AI video, they have very, very strict felony laws concerning AI use, especially in situations like that. He's facing 10 years on that alone. not just the disruption of business and menacing charges that he's got going on. Terroristic threats, playing North Korean propaganda, the leaking of sensitive data concerning his court case. I mean, this dude is a crash out king. Y'all thought Aaron the plumber was a crash out king. This dude is 10 times worse. Oh my God. He ain't coming back.
Sure.
Question you didn't answer that release of South Korean president.
You want to be a passport pro overseas and show your
I
ass?
don't have anything on that,
They'll
but I
take
can
it.
certainly check in with the National Security Council and
take
get back
that.
to you.
He'll make
Sure.
you
Good to
take
see you.
that. Take that.
Press Secretary, many are concerned about the validity of President Biden's official actions and also his pardons of the possible criminal actions of individuals such as his family members and Liz Cheney, as information is emerging that many of his official actions were auto-signed, possibly even the pardons, and without his knowledge or consent. Does the White House have any information available currently that Biden was actually the one that approved and signed those pardons? And second question, will the DOJ investigate whether President Biden's cognitive decline allowed unelected staff to push through radical policy and pardons without his knowing approval?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I can check in with our folks here who may know the answer to that question and get back to you. Dasha, go ahead.
Caroline, you did a great job articulating the vision that President Trump has for what he believes his tariffs can do in terms of bringing jobs back.
You know what? I'm going to say this right now. It would be very professional and prudent, especially for the camera work or whatnot, for these reporters that are in the gallery or whatnot to stand up when asking a question. Show some professionalism. Stand the hell up. Stand the hell up. Show some decorum. Stand your butt up and ask the questions.
To the United States. I asked you last week about how much Americans might need to buckle up for some short-term pain, a conversation that with the president and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent have had with the people. I'm wondering, how high is the pain threshold for President Trump and for this White House as you watch some of the turbulence in the stock markets, as you field concerns from businesses that potentially see some of those approval ratings drop in the short term? How much is he willing to stomach that, and will he stay committed to his vision for tariffs even as all of this comes up?
Well, the president has been working hard every single day to alleviate the pain that was inflicted by the previous administration through massive deregulation, through drill baby drill, as we like to call it, unleashing the might of our energy industry, which we know will ultimately drive down costs for consumers here at home. And again, as I mentioned, the president is intent on signing tax cuts for the American people to put more money back into their pockets, which will ultimately unlock consumer confidence. And again, I'll reiterate the president's words in layman's terms, as he does best. The president wants the American people to have so much more money in their pockets, they don't know what to do with it. That's the goal of this administration, through tariffs, through tax cuts, through deregulation, and through unleashing the potential of our energy industry. I have two more.
And also eliminating the IRS.
More quick notes before I wrap up. April 28th, I can confirm that the Philadelphia Eagles will be here at the White House to celebrate their Super Bowl victory. I know there was a lot of fake news about an invitation that wasn't sent or was sent. We want to correct the record. We sent an invitation. They enthusiastically accepted, and you will see them here on April 28th. And lastly, on a sad note, I would like to express our condolences to Fox News and to the entire Fox family who did lose a cameraman, Craig Savage, who passed away at 61 years old recently. A very tragic death, an individual who was a great man and covered this building for many, many years. So the entire press office, the communications office here wants to express our condolences with his family and also with Fox News. And I'll see you guys later. Perhaps you'll see the president in a Tesla later this afternoon. Have a good one.
That's the sniper report. So let's take a look at the Tesla.
Hello, everybody.
Hold on. I got the Tesla. At least I should have it. Let me see. Where's the Tesla? Hold on. Take a look at this, then we'll get the hell up out of here. We're not gonna be here all night. Let's see here. There we go. All right, let's take a look at the Tesla.
These cars. What do you think?
Well, the car that I drive is the Model S.
Which is that one?
That red one in the middle.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2 seconds. It's faster than a Ferrari. It's pretty fast.
You're the 60.
Negative Jeff, they're going to be using it more. I'm not allowed to use it.
It looks fast.
That's a fast one.
Just to be clear, sir, the 50%, is that going to go into effect on Canada or not?
Which one?
The 50% tariffs?
I'll let you know about it.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I appreciated his call. I thought it was nice. This is beautiful. Whoa. Should I get in?
Get in?
Yeah, get in.
Have
Take a look.
Let me get in.
One of these? Of a Tesla?
You want my notes?
Yeah.
They gave me notes. I said, I'm not biting. I don't need notes.
I'll take one. I can take it.
Thank you. Let me get in a sec. I'll watch Secret Service go crazy. Thank you.
I mean, if you actually drove it around, it would really be wild.
Wow.
These left.
This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
Got the presidential Tesla. The presidential Tesla.
That's beautiful.
Can you start it?
Should I? Let's do the engine.
You gonna get it wrapped in gold?
Shut up. What a stupid question.
You don't want me to drive it, do you?
I saw Mike do a test
it
move
could
here
be.
once in the Jeep.
Yeah,
Very easy to drive.
that's you're the only one that saw it.
It's like driving a gold car. Basically.
Very simple.
It's very simple. So it's literally like all the part that goes through these tests. There's no gears.
This is really amazing.
You gotta get it.
I went to the gas station the other day. Guy pulled up in like he pulled up in like a 60, 63 something. I don't know what it was. I know he said it was a 63 something. I can't remember, but he pulled up in a classic. That sucker was so quiet. He pulled up the gas pump across from me. I was like, damn, that sucker clean. He had an old one. That sucker was a classic. I'm like, damn, that car is nice. He was like, yeah, it got a little hot. You know, white guy. Got a little hot. I thought I'd break out the beauty. I was like, man, yeah, it was a pretty car. All right, y'all. We're not here all night. Let's get the hell up out of here. Y'all be safe. We'll see. We'll get into some more stuff tomorrow. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, we got time. All right. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. We'll see what's up.
You're fired. And in case your ears are fucked, get the fuck